No one has bigger dreams than Nacho.
When you are a man, sometimes you wear stretchy pants. It's for fun.
But to become a champion,
I would like that kind of respect.
he'll need strength, speed, and style.
And now, hammer dunk. The orphans, they need me.
He'll become their hero. From the director of Napoleon Dynamite and the writer of School of Rock, Jack Black. Nacho Libre.
That didn't hurt.
You been?
I am recording.
Don't lie to me.
I wouldn't lie this late in the night.
You lying to me. Steven, don't lie to me. All right, man. Let's get the show on the road.
Heck yeah.
All right, everybody. Hey, welcome to Getting Animated with me, your host, Batmigu3l. This week, I have a special guest for everybody. His name is Benny D. Ben Davis. Goes by so many names. Say hi, Ben.
What is up, Miguel's podcast people?
Freaking Ben. Yeah, so this week I've chosen Nacho Libre to review with Ben here. Because there's been many of times where I've shouted across a classroom or just a building, anywhere, just saying, "Hey you, save a piece of that corn for later."
Yeah. Have you ever had feelings for a nun? No way. That's about how our conversations go.
Yeah, pretty much. So let's kick it off. Let's kick it off by talking about the intro of this film. Do you want to start it off there, Ben?
Heck
This
yeah,
is
I
probably
want
one
to
of
talk
your
about the
favorite scenes of
intro.
the whole film.
Heck yeah, I want to talk about the intro. I love the intro of this movie. Not only does it set up the whole movie and like dreams you have as a kid, you know, you might fulfill later down the road when he's like making his outfit, but also has my favorite part of the movie, which is when he like smashes the chips after his dreams have been destroyed and Nacho's forced to go in the kitchen. Like, I love that part so much. The face, the elbow thrust, it's just the perfect way to start a perfect movie.
Yeah, dude, totally. It is a wrestling film, so why not start off with a sweet wrestling move?
That's right. And
Yeah.
the sweet wrestling body. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, totally. Freaking, which I also noticed that the kid in the film is the same kid from that one movie that he was in called Tenacious D in the Pick of Destiny.
Oh, what? That's crazy.
Yeah, so it was like kind of weird juxtaposition too, because like the other film is like all about like metal and like, you know, they always have like satanic things in metal, and just funny to see him in this religious film. And he's actually like a pretty well-known actor now. He's in the hit show The Goldbergs on ABC,
Oh,
which is
yeah.
really
The kid?
awesome. Yeah, that kid,
Wow.
Barry Goldberg. He's quite the character actor. He's so like charismatic and animated, which I feel Nacho Libre, the movie its own, feels animated. It feels like an animated movie come to life. I don't know what you
Totally.
think, Ben.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, just like right after that intro part, getting into his life, like all the different sound effects for like everything, like everyone knows when he jumps, there's like that sound effect. And then like, like the freaking coyote sound whenever like something intimate goes down. I mean, I just love this movie.
Oh, everybody, my wife just entered the room.
What's up,
Everybody say hi.
Erica?
Hey. Yeah, so yeah, it's definitely animated. Like even that montage where they're training in the what's it called, the bull ring, where he gets hit by a bull and flies over. Like, there is no way any mortal man will survive that. Like, like I don't know. Like, do you have any other parts of you think that feel animated to you, Ben?
Oh yeah, I mean, I don't want to jump to it too soon, but the eagle powers at the end. Spoiler alert.
Oh my god! Yeah. Okay, okay. Hold off on that. Hold off on that. We're still talking about the intro here, which leads to the introduction of Encarnacion, like, which is feels like Romeo and Juliet. And you want to elaborate some more on that, Ben?
I mean, yeah, who hasn't had an experience like this where you're sitting in class and someone way hotter than you walks in and you're just blown away?
I've never had that feeling, Ben.
Oh, maybe we'll just cut that out. I'm just kidding.
Speak for yourself. I am all that is man. My wife just laughed. No one can see that, but she's laughing right now.
You say that now, but check out this amazing body. Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Ben, I hooked you up pretty sweet there, huh? What do you think about your design?
This is definitely not even an exaggeration of what I'm going to look like in like 2 years. Like, I am going to be this ripped and I'm going to be this healthy.
I hope so, dude. I like that you think that dude's ripped. I just see like man chichis and like chesticles, like, I don't know. But
This is not man boobage. This is
actually,
pec action.
if you became like a dad soon, that would totally be your dad bod in 2 years.
Yes. Okay. Well, let's make that happen. You heard it first here, folks.
Is this like a dating show now? Is this the Let's Get Ben a Date show?
I'm too busy watching Nacho Libre to get a date. I'm watching it for like the 100th time.
All right, let's keep moving on. So, talk about the eternal love, which leads to the awkward, do you like to come over and have some toast later in my room? Like, that is such a weird, like, first date, like, which the movie's pretty awkward in, like, in itself. Like, I feel every conversation is just like quirky, awkward, like, which is perfect. And I give props to the director too, like, for he actually casted people from the town that the film was made in. I don't know if you heard about that.
Yeah, a little bit. I mean, like, I think Jared Hess was like a Mormon missionary in Mexico for like 2 years or something before the movie. So that's why he knew, like, not only how to speak Spanish, but also, like, people to have in it, which is perfect. I love that their delivery doesn't feel like the way, like, a natural, like, American English speaker would say it. And I don't know, I think it adds so much appeal to the film.
Wow, I didn't know that. He was a missionary? He's Mormon? Oh,
Yeah.
And he made like a movie about Catholicism and the Mexican culture.
I know, right?
And he's also white too, right?
Yeah,
He's a white
totally
dude.
white. Yeah, he's almost as white as me. Which, I mean, if you were looking at this body, you couldn't tell, but in real life, I'm quite white. The movie about my life, that it's called Quite White.
Yeah, that's totally a movie about your life. I thought the movie Powder was about your life at first when I first met you. Just kidding, guys. Just kidding. Ben's a sweet guy. Ben's such a cool dude. Let's not talk trash on Ben.
But don't look at me too much, or the reflection of the sun might blind you.
I've seen it happen, guys. This girl at school almost got hit by a car. All right. Well, I feel like that moment when he met Encarnacion was the moment that sparked his fire to become a luchador and to become more of himself, which I feel like, anytime a man is in a good relationship, a woman inspires him to do stuff like that. At least that's what Michelle Obama told people. I'm just kidding. At least that's how I feel about my wife too. And they always say, like, you know, a strong man is only as good as a strong woman or something like that. I don't know.
The Forever Alone face is like pasted over me right now. I'm just gonna shed a little tear.
All right. Enough giving my wife props. She's left the room, everybody.
Can never give her enough props.
Just kidding, guys. I love her. She's awesome. But yeah, I feel like that's kind of like what fueled the fire. And he's like, I need to prove myself. Not to myself, but to Encarnacion and to the children. You know, and also because I feel like he was tired of serving them crappy food. The food looks so gross in the movie.
I know. I do love the way that they very quickly in the movie set up how this guy's life is and how it isn't what he wants it to be. From not only that intro with him in the graveyard to him sitting in mass and like he's just doing a little doodle instead of paying attention, and then he's having to cook the crappy food with no money to make anything. So yeah, they set up that hero's journey really well at the beginning, and then yeah, like you're saying, that setup of like what has to pay out at the end is like, oh, he wins when spoiler, when he's not fighting for himself but for other people. That's pretty great.
Oh yeah, like I don't know. I just feel too like I think you reach a point where you're just like, oh, you know, like I don't know how I can stand this. Like I just need to change. You know, like some people call it like a midlife crisis for some. You know, some others, but like you know, you reach a point where you're like, you know, I feel like I could do something better, a little bit more worthwhile. Like you know, to get out of like a funk, I guess. I feel like that's what's going on with Nachos. He's like, I need to get out of this funk. I need to find something. I've always been passionate about wrestling, which I feel like any kid is, like around a certain age. But you know, he's like, and then that cool montage comes in where he's like, you know, all these montages.
Yeah.
So like when he sees like the sign, you know, of like wrestling, and he's like, no, it's a sign, like it's a literal sign, like a sign from God, like what people always talk about, and he's like, all right, we're gonna do it, and
the winner is 200 pesos.
And it goes into meeting Esqueleto, which is the next topic that I want to talk about, is the Esqueleto introduction. Do you want to talk more about that scene and
I love
the chips?
Yeah, the chips. Did you tell them that you were the Lord's chips? I was trying to. Yeah, I mean, I love that. That's their intro to Esqueleto is him like jumping down like an animal in the alleyway to like grab like a handful of chips. Like that's just hilarious. And then it sets up his character really well too. And then him and Nacho fighting is just hilarious, and that continues through the film.
Yeah, and he's like, that's kind of like, oh man, I need to recruit a guy who's pretty like buff and can kick butt. Why not recruit the guy who kicked my butt?
Yeah.
And stole the chips from the orphans, which it's kind of messed up, you know, but we later find out that one of my favorite lines from Esqueleto is like, I believe in science.
Yeah. You've not been baptized?
That first fight is pretty awesome. What do you think? Like, what are your favorite moments from that fight?
When Nacho and Esqueleto? Yeah. Oh, yeah. I mean, I just love like I've already said, like the sound effects that they add. There's like this sound effect when like Esqueleto jumps down from like his perch up above, and then like, Nacho farting and all that stuff, and the intensity when they're just kind of rolling around on the ground. Like, anyway, it's, every fight in this movie is fantastic.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, or when Nacho's on the sidelines, and that's where that line comes. He's like, "Hey, what are you doing over there? Say a piece of that corn for later."
Yeah.
Just like kind of just like entertaining the crowd, and but ultimately just like a good hero, like underdog story. They lose the first time, like just like Rocky. Rocky loses the first movie, and it's that underdog story, which I feel Nacho Libre is an underdog story, and like proving himself and to others, and which kind of is cool that they realize that they can still get paid even if they lose.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's
Which then
interesting.
goes like to the next scene where they get money, and I don't know. You want to talk about that?
Oh yeah, that's got my favorite line in the movie, which so Esqueleto goes, "What's this?" The guy goes, "It's money. What do you think?" Yeah.
Yeah, totally.
I love that part, and then he shows up the next day with the fresh ingredients like he's been asking about for the orphans' food. So he shows up with salad, and that all the kids are happy. Like, yeah, that's great.
Yeah, totally. The salad, the fresh salad, everyone's all like amazed. Like that kid's face, like the
Yeah.
close up is like, wow, like oh my gosh, like
When you brought up something too that I think is really great to talk about right there at the beginning, which that they set up from the beginning and throughout, is that he's not really in any world, which I think is interesting. Like, he's not really a fighter, but he's also not really like totally a religious guy, even though he knows a buttload of crap about the gospel. And like, I think everyone feels like that, like they don't really belong. But I think they play on that really well throughout the movie, of like, him having to overcome, and so the losses, like you were mentioning, like really like add to that and to what he overcomes and how he kind of like, I don't want to say like discovers himself, but like discovers his purpose, kind of.
yeah, like he kind of just like I keep saying it like a fire just like lit up under his butt, like it just like, fueled him. Like it's like yeah, it's time, it is time, and like like in that scene where he like rips his shirt open.
Yeah.
It's like that. Like I feel like that encompasses his feeling was him ripping his shirt open. Which kind of like they also go into like where he's like, oh yeah, Ramses is the best, he is the best, and then like which is another like topic that I think about is like they say to never meet your heroes, because they might disappoint, and like that was one of those moments like in the middle of the film where he's like trying to get like the picture for the orphans, and he's just like, get out of here, and pushes them. It's so messed up, but goes to show you like like the people that you never expect would act like that, act like that. And
Yeah. I think
but also leads to like one of my favorite parts of the film is when they go to the party, when Ramsey's party. Do you want to talk a little bit more about that?
Oh, heck yeah. Yeah, when they're trying to become pros, they have to go talk to Ramsey's manager. And that also has one of my favorite lines, which is, Esqueleto goes up the stairs and is met by a young lady who happens to be the manager's daughter. And she, like, silently whispers, like, I love you. And he's like, what? And she repeats it, and he's like, he looks all creeped out after we just poked out the eyes of the doll. Anyway, it's just so good. Sorry I'm going on. It's just fantastic.
No, keep going.
Oh, I mean, and then how'd you get up there so fast? And then she's like, secret tunnels.
Oh my god, yeah, the secret tunnels.
The secret tunnels,
It's
dude.
so weird. It's so weird. They just like crawl out. You're like, what in the fuck am I looking at right now?
Well, and then, I mean, you got to talk about Nacho's song at the party.
Oh my god, that's my favorite. And he's like, Ramsey's an attend to the party. Like it's so like Tenacious D, like it's just so awesome. Like yeah, then they get kicked out.
Yeah, and then this is the line I was alluding to a second ago. He's like, that party was lame. That's what he says when they walk out before they get like tire jacked. The party that they broke into.
Yeah, totally. But it's so funny because he's like, oh, like, all right, you gotta stop thinking about those tunnels. I really want some tunnels. They're so cool.
It's like when you're a kid and you like want a slide in your house, like take you to like the second floor to the, whatever, the first floor or something like that. It's like, man, that's what I imagine secret tunnels are like.
Oh yeah, like like oh yeah, I want to like get a fireman pole to
Yeah.
like lead me from like my room to downstairs. Like that was always my dream, just like Ghostbusters, you know.
Or then you change into like Batman clothes halfway through,
Oh
you know?
yeah, Batman clothes would be
Yeah.
cool.
Speaking
Definitely.
of, I got the Batman underwear on right now. Check out this body. Oh yeah.
Dude, you're really feeling it, huh?
Oh, I'm
I
feeling
think
it.
Ben's gonna bulk up this season, guys.
Heck yeah.
Better watch out.
Oh yeah.
Oh, dude. All right, so let's go ahead and talk about the ending of the film. Or actually, before the ending of the film, which we stopped talking about, was when he gets his eagle powers and
Oh
he
my god.
meets the where
The
Esqueleto
water
introduces him to the
gypsy.
gypsy. Yeah,
Yeah.
so go ahead, bro. Go.
Oh my
Let you
gosh.
start that
Well,
off.
this is just gonna show my true colors and that this is an unbiased review, of Nacho. Is that there's a huge section of the movie that was cut out for the water gypsy part where they have to go to his like palace, and he has to be pleased in order to show them where the eagle eggs are. So they like dress Nacho up in like all these pigeons and like a dress and like walk him around. And my favorite line that was cut, the water gypsy guy goes, "This pleases me."
No way. That was all cut out from the film, the original film.
Yeah, I mean, it's a deleted scene. It's probably like 10 minutes long, though. It's a lot.
Wow, dude, that's crazy. I didn't know that. That's so nuts. I love that scene when he just like cracks the egg open and it just like drips all over the sides of his face, all gross, just like. And then they try out the eagle powers at the next match, and then he's like, "There was no eagle powers. You lied to
Gave me
me.
no nutrients.
There's no nutrients." Oh my god! And then which leads to like him trying to like face Ramses later, and then like something happens and so wins the match. And then Esqueleto ends up sabotaging the whole thing, so then Nacho could be entered into like the final match with Ramses. Oh man, which leads to like the end of the film, which is like the hero's journey, like the ultimate time when he's like, "I'm going to prove to you that I am worth it." And he has that whole speech, you know what I'm talking about? When he's like gonna leave the church, you know?
Yeah, and that's when he's like talking about oh, he's gonna buy the orphans like a big bus. Like all this isn't just for himself; it's like for them. And like that was before the pre-battle, and then really it's proven in the end when like uh, Encarnacion and the children show up at the battle, and it's almost like he remembers what all this was for, and so then like God grants him the victory as well as the eagle powers.
Yeah. Then you hear the eagle sound effect. And then he like soars throughout the whole crowd like an eagle just
Yeah.
flying like which is also feels like an animated moment. You're like, there's no way some dude's gonna fly
Yeah.
that far and get him. But then pulls like that cool ass like wrestling move and like totally takes down Ramses like for reals. Oh
Yeah.
dude, like he's actually been wrestling for a while. He's actually learned some stuff. Like
Yeah.
he's taking a beating and he's like wins for the kids and for Encarnacion.
Yeah. I know. And so many fun things along the way, like his time in the wilderness with the machete, and like the song for Encarnacion.
Oh yeah, yeah. And then that when Sancho tells him that machete was given to him by his mom, like my mom gave me this machete.
His lucky machete.
Uh, all right, man. Let's wrap this up. So, which leads to like the final ending, which is, I feel like kind of like reminiscent of like old Mexican cinema, like at least what I used to watch, like with my grandma and my grandpa on Canal 22, and they'd always have like those like, well, it'd usually be like an old '70s movie, like India Maria or like something like that, and they'd have like those outfits on, and which I feel like this movie reminds me of a lot of like those movies, like the India Maria movies, like real campy, funny, just over the top. Um, but just like that blue outfit that he's wearing, and it just they have the bus too, and it has the painting of Nacho, and like being in Mexico a lot, like you would see buses like that all the time, and it's just it was the movie felt really like it was authentic. Like it felt like I was like, oh, this could definitely be on Canal 22, and like my grandma would have definitely have watched this and be like, "Mijo, you gotta watch this. This guy's hilarious. It's Nacho." Like, and I feel like Nacho would have had sequels. Like if it would have been back then, like there would be like Nacho Libre faces, werewolves, like because that's what we used to watch was a lot of like El Santo. El Santo is like he was a wrestler guy, but he was kind of like Hellboy. Like it'd be like El Santo versus werewolves, El Santo versus like vampires, and he was just such an awesome like figure, which I feel like a lot of like whatever the director's name was, the director's name again?
Jared Hess, I think.
Yeah, like I feel like that dude definitely had to watch a lot of that films when he was on his missions. Like he had to have watched that, like because Mexico, like it is a third world country, which means that sometimes like cable and stuff like that would be a little like like I'd be telling my cousins over there like, hey, have you watched this? Like, no, we don't have that yet. Like or they would get stuff like a little later, like so. Like after you said that he was a missionary over there, it all makes sense. You're like, oh yeah, this dude definitely like delved deep into the Mexican culture.
Yeah, that's awesome. And I mean, it's kind of cool too that it was something I was going to ask you. So it's kind of cool that you're answering it because I've been to Mexico, but, only a little bit. But as someone who, has had family there, grown up there at times yourself, like, is not only is it representational, but also, is this, does it feel like Mexico? You know what I mean? Like in essence and all that. So that's awesome that you're saying that.
Yeah, it totally feels like it. Like it was. I don't know. I love watching this movie just because of that. It's just you feel like I get that nostalgia feeling of like, oh man, I get all those vibes of watching those movies with my grandparents, and like that's kind of like one of my ultimate like pastimes, just watching movies, and it's kind of like nerdy, but I remember there was a video of my wife watched it. It's one of those videos like that they record you from like the police station and like like at fairs and stuff. Like, hey, say something about yourself. And I'm like 9 years old, little fat Miguel, like super fat, and like they're like, say some of your hobbies, and I'm like, I like watching TV. like,
That's
like
amazing.
such a fat kid, but I was like, no, I liked watching TV. Like I liked watching novelas with my grandma late at night and like talking about it the next day. You're like, and because there'd also be kids at school who also would stay up and watch novelas, and you're like, oh yeah, did you watch so and so Marimar? And you're like, oh yeah, or did you watch was it like Dos Mujeres Un Camino, which like one of my brother's favorite like novelas. He like fell in love with trucks, and Eric Estrada's in it from Chips.
Oh, nice.
And which is funny because Nacho Libre is one of my brother's favorite films, and yeah, like oh man, it just I don't know, it's very nostalgic. I love it. So, which leads us here to the end. Let's rate the film. 1 out of 5. Save me a piece of that corn for later. What do you give it?
You're going to have to save me all 5 of those pieces of corn for later because, I'm totally biased, but I love this movie. It's a 5 out of 5 for me.
You know what, dude? I give it 5 out of 5 pieces of corn for later too, bro. Alrighty, Ben. Well, thanks for coming. Thanks for chatting about Nacho. Always a good time with you. Go ahead and tell the people what you're doing, what you're working on right now. Go ahead and plug away.
Oh, thanks, man. Well, thanks for having me on the podcast. And I love getting animated. That's the only thing I got to plug, really, is I got some awesome projects coming up with Tune Therapy, and Miguel can talk more about that at some other time. And I also have my own artist podcast, which we got to get Miguel on, though it won't be as cool as this one because it's
No,
not
yeah, I'll
animated.
definitely be on, bro.
Yeah,
For sure.
yeah, brother. It's the Up and Coming Artist Podcast. You can check it out on iTunes, Spotify, YouTube, and wherever else you get your social media.
All right, Ben. All right. Well, you guys just, had another episode with me, Batmigu3l, and got animated, talked about some cool movies and cool parts of the film. I just want to thank you guys for tuning in. Go ahead and like, subscribe, do all that good stuff, And then I'm going to have a contest here soon where if you can name all the things in this room, all the movies, you're going to win a prize. So go ahead and, tell your friends. Peace. Thank you. Have a good night.
And for everyone out there.
Oh, yeah, I forgot. Wu-Tang Forever. That's our sign out. Wu-Tang. 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 I hope you were dancing.
Oh, I was dancing to Nacho.
Nacho. Wu-Tang Forever. Peace.